Hello everyone, welcome to Audio Architects. My name's Mike. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a biopic on Audiovector. Audiovector is an amazing Danish company that has been in business for almost 4 decades. So I'm really excited to be chatting with Mads Klifoth, who runs the day-to-day operations of the company. Let's get started.
Hello everybody, my name is Oli Clifford. I founded Audiovector in 1979. I was really inspired by a lot of musical events where I felt the sensation of real live music and I wanted to reproduce it in my home. And I tried different loudspeakers, different high quality loudspeakers, and all of them would be able to reproduce part of it, but not the whole picture. So, as I couldn't find the speaker I was looking for, I decided to build it myself. Audiovector is a family-owned company. It's an independent company and has been since the start in 1979. Family-owned means that I own the company along with my son Mads, who runs the company today, and I'm very proud that we can continue our tradition and our legacy and our development, striving for the highest possible musical quality.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Audio Architects. My name is Mike, and I have a very special friend here today, my good buddy Mads, all the way from Denmark, the owner of Audiovector. How you doing, Mads?
I'm doing very well, Mike. Thank you very much for having me at your podcast today.
Oh, it's a party now because, I got Audiovector here with me.
Exactly.
So I've been a huge fan of your everything, because obviously I'm on Instagram quite a bit and I see your posts and I see your speakers, and man, and I'm not the only one. Everybody's salivating over how beautiful the speakers are and how, how much detail and quality goes into it. So I'm kind of curious, what is the history of Audiovector? Like, can you tell me a little bit about how you guys started and all that good stuff?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very flattered. And we appreciate people that like what we do because we put our hearts and our lives into this. We're a Danish company. We're family owned. We are in nowhere near capital fund business. We do what we like and what we love. And my father started this company in 1979.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. Yeah, and he's a 1950s kid. Well, he's from 49. And this was the generation that has, especially in Europe, break out of the parents' control and, iron grip in a way. So he actually decided to move away from his hometown to do exactly what he wanted and what he loved, and that was to build speakers. I mean, he was the hippie, he looked like a white Jimi Hendrix. With the afro and no shoes and just loving music.
Awesome.
And, yeah.
So it just grew from there, huh? So he started in 1979. Was it only speakers? I mean, it was just like one line of speakers, or was he kind of dabbling and experimenting with the different stuff?
But he was actually working at a hi-fi shop, and at the same time, he's educated as a journalist as well. So he was writing for High Fidelity in Denmark. And,
oh, wow.
And a good friend of his came and said, I think to make a special pair of speakers for him. And took a little time, but after manufacturing the first pair of speakers, he was hooked. he was hooked. And then in '79, the F3, it was called F3 back then, F3, because that was the name of the place he was entering the building. F3 Trapez, that sold 50,000 pieces, which is a lot over 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot
of speakers.
Yeah, and it came as a kit, and it came as an already built speaker. But if you bought it as a kit and built it yourself, you would receive, I think, 15 points tax reduction for loudspeaker taxes in Denmark. So everyone built it themselves.
Wait a second. So in Denmark, they charge you to buy a speaker?
They charge you everything. Nuts, speakers, alcohol, doesn't matter what you buy. There's a special tax for everything.
Wow. That's not fun.
But we're a happy country. We have good hospitals, free daycare, all these things. So, it adds up in a good way.
There is that.
It's a good country to be in.
Yeah, I've only heard good things about Denmark. So, yeah, it's incredible how different, sometimes the cultures and the governments are and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think most of Europe kind of has it together. But so you took over, I believe, 6 years ago?
Yeah, almost 7 years ago. I started in the company 7 years ago. I took over 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
I was in real estate for a long time.
Oh wow.
I started in real estate when I was 19.
Okay.
And when I was 29, I started working with Audiovector, and it was a choice. It was a choice that I've been thinking about for a long time. It wasn't really an invitation from my father, because he's a very free soul. He didn't want to push me into anything. This was something that I just one day woke up and thought, this is it. It's been very good to be investing in property, selling property, taking property in. It was fun, and but I wanted to work with people that was, doing what they wanted. It shouldn't be for the money or for the prestige or for the status. It should be something where you had people around you that love coming to work. Yeah, and maybe I hope you understand what I mean, but I always liked to work, I never thought of going up 6 in the morning,
I totally feel you, man. Yeah, I mean, that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it not work, Yeah. So exactly. You basically turned a hobby into a career, but at the same time, this is your family business. So you in a way, you have so much heart into it, because it is a family business. Yeah. But at the same time, you love what you do. So, I mean, not many people can say that. A lot of people go to their 9-to-5s, and do that all their life. And then they turn 65 and they retire, and they're like, what happened with all this time? Exactly. I instead of saying, hey, I'm going to take the leap of faith and just go do what I like and do what I want. And I think that's very admirable, man. Because obviously your dad did that. Your dad was, put in the work. Obviously now he's probably just relaxing, right? Or is he still active in the company?
Oh no, he's very active. He's turning 72 as far as I remember next time. That's which is New Year's Eve, and he's very active. He's obviously not doing 7 days a week anymore, which is not, and it's not needed anymore. But he is very much involved in all engineering, and he's training me as well, because when you start, I was 28 or 29 when I started in this company, and you think you know everything. I knew nothing, I knew the basics of the company, but there's so many sides to it, so many angles to it. So I still need his help, of course, to function and grow and have a success. And
what I think is amazing is that you are doing, from a marketing standpoint, because I do a lot of marketing. From a marketing standpoint, you're doing a phenomenal job with your social media, with your website, with everything. It just looks so clean and nice and professional. I mean, you're doing a really good job. I think your dad is obviously very proud of you, and I think he knows he's leaving it in good hands. So I think that's fantastic. So what are you excited about right now? You have a couple speakers that, one that you showed me a little bit ago that I almost lost myself over. I was calling it the Maserati of speakers. But is that your most exciting speaker for you, or what's your favorite speaker that you make? What and why?
There's so many angles to that question, because obviously it's easy to say I'm choosing the most expensive one, which has which is engineered in the less easiest way. But I do love the R8. The R8 is second from the top. It's a wonderful speaker that my father and I engineered together from the beginning. Wow. And this has a special place in my heart, of course, because this is a real introduction to high end. I actually engineered the QR series, which goes from about $1,500 to $3,500, maybe $4,000. And that was a good project for me as well. And they're also close to me. But doing something at $70,000 with your dad to learn and experience how you actually build a speaker from the bottom, that was amazing. That's
incredible. And you manufacture, you manufacture everything right there where you are, right? And
yeah,
that's incredible. Yeah. And that's really cool, because not only is it a family-run business, you're not dealing with corporations and stuff like that. I think this is a conversation we had the other day when we talked on the phone. I was telling you how, sometimes these companies get bought and sold to where they lose their identity. I'm not going to name any names because, I kind of do business with some of them. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like you see that happening, and it's almost disheartening to see, iconic companies just get diluted. And I think that Audiovector is one of those companies that will not happen to. I think
it will not happen to us. Absolutely not. But you have to think about, if this is not in any way to sound arrogant, but if let's say that I was not prepared to go into the family business, which so many young people are not, because they want to do their own thing and they want to experience, they want to show that they can do everything themselves, and especially maybe they want to show their dad that they're not depending on him. But if I wasn't there, I'm not sure where Audiovector would be at the moment. Probably be sold or taken over. Hopefully not by Capital Fund. But it is also very important that there are some people, maybe not family, but trained people around you that can actually take care of the company and and move it along and have it grow a little. Because if you're 70, 75 years old and your company is doing well and you have no one to pass it on to, it's not in your power to, you have a little power, but only a little, to decide where it's going to go and how it's going to proceed.
Yeah. And that's tough, I mean, luckily you have kids that you can pass it on to. Hopefully someday they'll be as into audio as you are, Yeah.
I have a small boy, 1.5, called Conrad. But there's no security that he wants to do this. And I've been asked this before, and he has to want it. And if he wants it, he really wants it, he really, really wants it, then he can do it. But he can never feel pushed or pressured into doing this, Sure. He has to do his own thing. And he has to feel the same as I do now, about how to go to work. And that is me and my wife's finest job, to teach him. Find something that you love to do, so you're not, having this 9-to-5 thought in your head all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Well, and the cool thing is, it's not like this isn't farming, so it's like you do something cool already. This is like a cool industry that you're in. So I think once he starts going to shows, he goes to Munich and to a couple of these big shows, and he's like, dang, Dad, this is cool, I think he's going to be definitely hooked. But
I hope so.
When you were a kid and you were growing up, were you just surrounded by speakers all the time and good music and fun? And, man.
Yeah, that was back when I was a kid, my father used to import Lin products, and Ivar Tiefenbrun used to stay at our house when there was a show in Denmark, or there was dealer visits and so on. He also used to import did Name for 18 years, Arkham of Cambridge for 25. He was Flatline on Now Norder's first export account, as far as I'm informed as well. Jacques Marul from Vocal, he was his first export account for bass drivers for his kit systems as well.
Wow,
So,
these are some heavy duty. These are some heavy duty names you just dropped, man.
yeah, and but basically, Ole is my father's name. Was one of the first in Danish high end that really took it serious.
Yeah, I mean, just being in business that long, that's a good sign, and the fact that you're going strong, and you have a huge presence, and I mean, I think your product speaks for itself. It's just such a beautiful finish. I have a good question though. Do you do custom orders for people? If someone says, "Hey, I want this speaker, but I want it in that color," is that something you guys do?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. We unfortunately, it's too difficult for us to do it with veneers, but we do it with any special car lacquer that you might like.
Okay.
We work with a very special German sports car brand, that Danish division. So they actually paint all our speakers.
That is cool.
Yeah. So let's say that you want a Ferrari red or a Porsche gray or an Audi green or something like that. Then we can supply you with that exact color, not something that looks like that color. It is that color. There is an 8 week wait for custom colors, and it's sprayed by hand in Denmark, 1 hour from here south. So they do Porsches, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, old Bentleys, old American muscle cars, all these things. If you want a custom job, these are the guys to go to. So
I'm a huge fan of Amt Tweeters, and I noticed that you use them in your speakers.
Yeah.
Are you kind of with me on that? Is that kind of your favorite tweeter to use? Because I just love the high end on a nice AMT, an
AMT I think it's the best tweeter in the world. And we also have speakers with dome tweeters, and they do sell well and they sound amazing. It's for a different clientele. Clientele.
Sure.
The AMTs, they're just so resolved. They go so high. They're so delicate in a way. It's like a wonderful French Burgundy wine. It has all the nuances, and it's not too heavy. You don't get tired of it, but it has to be controlled. And this is also why 20 years ago, Ole, my father, he engineered his own version of an AMT, which is open to the rear.
Really?
So that means it actually breathes through the rear baffle, and it's not closed in any enclosure like many other AMTs. And that actually makes it sound free.
Wow.
Another thing is that it's mounted in 3 points, Teflon cages, instead of being, screwed hardly to the cabinet. So it's a floating construction as well. So some of that vibrations that the drivers are causing in the cabinet, of course, will affect the tweeter, but not as much as in any ordinary case.
Right. And I know that you're not, I know you're not looking to do, subwoofers in the future, for near future, but I know you do have a couple subwoofers right now. Now, are you a fan of subwoofers? Because I'm a huge fan of subwoofers. So, and I know a lot of 2-channel people kind of cringe when you tell them, "Oh, subwoofer." What do you feel about that? Do you think a good 2-channel setup deserves a subwoofer, or do you think the subwoofer may be more for a home theater application?
I think that subwoofers in 2-channel is a little bit misunderstood in many ways. So we started making subwoofers because we do home cinema as well.
Right.
It is not something that we focus as much on as 2-channel, but you can always get a full surround sound, either in the QR series or the R series. This is important for us to be able to supply, because musical concerts, that can be an amazing experience. It's not all about having, a fighter jet, shooting missiles. It's not always about that. It can be Diana Krall Saturday evening, something like that, live in Paris, with a good glass of wine. That is, for me, it's therapy. And that's why we have it. And I would say I don't have subwoofers in my home. And we do demonstrations in here with subwoofers. And what is, extraordinary, if you set it up right, then you actually get a much better mid-range from the speakers when adding a subwoofer. So, but a subwoofer is added to be not heard.
Okay.
You understand what I mean?
I totally understand what you're saying.
So it has to like underlay, giving that, foundation of soft and easy bass to support the speaker. Well, I think in many cases, and this is just my own opinion, of course, many cases, people, they crank up the subwoofers because they like bass heads, and that's fine too. But it's very fine. Everything for each taste. There's nothing wrong with anything. But if I use a subwoofer, it is to improve the mid-range and to give that extra dynamics to the bottom.
Totally. I totally agree with you. And it's good that you mentioned home cinema, because you do do you do in-wall custom installation, stuff like that?
In-wall, on-wall, yeah, absolutely, in 5 different variations. So you can have it with an Amt tweeter, you can have it with a dome tweeter. We make speakers for restaurants.
Wow.
The expensive one goes, of course, in the more high-end restaurants. We did a restaurant in Grand Central Station a few years ago. It's a Michelin star restaurant. We do all across Europe high-end setups for beautiful places. Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
incredible.
Yeah,
because I've noticed that a lot of people are starting to. Well, obviously, I wouldn't. If I owned a pair of Audiovectors, I would want to show them off. But a lot of people are taking in home cinema more so. Want to take away the speakers off the floor. They want them in the wall, or they want them hidden and stuff like that. So, is that a huge chunk of business that's coming in now, like more now than ever, or is that something that is still like you do, but it's not like a huge part of things?
It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. And just talking about subwoofers, I have a lot of people putting pair of wall arrays in the wall, and then a subwoofer maybe hidden away, and that can give you a very good performance, But no, it's not a huge part of our business, and I don't think it will ever be, because our focus is somewhere else. We are not necessarily where where the wine is the coldest. We are where we want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if a market arises with home cinema or Dolby Atmos, we're not necessarily going to follow that, just because that's the new thing, short thing. 2 channels have been here for how many years?
Yeah.
Right? Like a long
You got
time.
a good point.
And if we focus, then we grow organically every year, and we get to do whatever we want. But if we jump around, has to be specialized in all kinds of things, then we won't be able to improve our 2 channel.
Sure. And you mentioned to me that your speaker designs are patented, right? Like nobody can copy your design. They can't mimic you, right?
No, they can try. They won't succeed. But we are making our own drivers. We're making our tweeters by hand. Our cabinets are made for us. It doesn't matter if it's mid-end or it's super high-end. All aluminum, all baffles, all crossovers, everything is attached to Audiovector, and I am absolutely 100% that our suppliers will not make the same for anyone else. But this is also a lifelong commitment to the suppliers. I mean, the guy that makes the print for our crossovers, he's 250 kilometers north from here.
Okay.
He made the first print for my dad in 1979.
Wow.
He's still supplying. Yeah.
That's so cool that you've kept the original team, together as I'm sure as well as you could, because I know when time passes, people kind of move on and stuff. But that's incredible, because no one knows that setup better than that guy, right? Like that guy knows how you like your sound. He knows how you like things made.
He never make mistakes. Never.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Also, we don't, if people say, so how many products break? I say, I don't know. 0.05 maybe. It's nothing.
Wow.
And if it might be a faulty driver, then it's 3 to 5 pairs in a year maximum.
Wow.
If it should happen, we send you a new driver. It's like It's so little, so it's not even in the budget.
Yeah, I mean, this is like buying a sports car. It's something that, and then that's another thing we were talking about the other day, was that this is something that this is an investment that you'll have for 15, 20, 30, 40 years, you know, people are going to still have Audiovector products in their house. And weren't you telling me that, you know, there's still, you know, people still have speakers from when, you know, your dad first started and stuff like that?
Absolutely. We can still actually refurbish them. We have a driver repair service that helps us, you know, if the roll has broken or we can do. We did a 27-year-old speaker for a Taiwanese woman half a year ago. It's a beautiful six. It's called six. It was a six-edged big black piano with bubinga wood on the front, and
wow.
We had painted. We refreshed the wood. We changed the drivers. We made air motion transformers to fit it, and
that's
of
cool.
course it's a costly thing to do. But she contacted us saying that her father was unfortunately, he passed away, and this was his you know, his greatest love, you know, of his older days was to listen to music on his Audiovector. So she wanted these in her home. So of course we took the job, you know, and I think
that's special. That's incredible.
We even helped her a little bit, you know, with a few things, because this is a good story, and this is something you don't hear every day.
No, and having that connection with the customer, you know, and building that relationship is priceless. You know, that's something that you're going to remember forever. You know, that the fact that you were able to immortalize this man with these speakers. I mean, as far as the young lady was concerned. So that is incredible, man. That actually kind of moved me, man. That's because I mean, my father passed away 5 years ago, so I kind of felt that, you know, so that's incredible that, you know, she was able to hold on to that, because that's a very special, I'm sure that's a very special thing for her, and for you guys to kind of give it a little bit of a makeover and put some new parts in and
they look brand new.
I'm sure they're going to last another 20, 30 years, you know.
For sure.
That's incredible, man. You are a good guy. You're an upstanding guy, man. I think that this company is in very good hands. I guess the next question is if someone after watching this is like, okay, I gotta have one, you know?
Yeah.
Or do you do direct sales, or do you do? Are you only dealers?
Yeah, we go through dealers or distributors, and for US we have, I think, we're not that big yet. But I'm absolutely sure that we will be coming there organically in the near future. Well, we think we have 7 dealers now.
Okay.
And of course all of them are good guys. We have a beautiful, wonderful guy called Pedro Sonosa. He's our brand manager in the US.
Awesome.
He's doing Bel Canto as well, and have done a few good brands. He's around 60 years. Very, very nice guy. And he knows a lot about Audiovector. He's been here. He's coming here when the COVID is allows him to travel. And but the dealers that we have in US, these guys, man, they are so dedicated. They really. It's like it's. I'm not going to say anything towards anyone else, but this is a different level of dedication, and I really like that. You know, and if they really like
I'm sure they'll
go through fire and water for the brand. You know, and this is something that I really appreciate and I'm really proud of.
That's awesome. Yeah, you have to become a fan, because just the story alone, you know, and meeting you and everything. I hope to meet. We need to bring your dad on here too, to talk to us one of these days. But
of course we can do that.
But yeah, that's incredible. Have you ever done Rocky Mountain Audio Fest? Have you done that show yet?
No, I was supposed to do everything. You know, this year and just before COVID, but no, you will see me.
Yeah, because I'm here in Denver, so if you do Rocky Mountain Audio Fest, you and I are gonna definitely have a cold beer afterwards and hang out. And
only one.
Well, you know, we'll see where it all ends up. Oh man!
And I'll say the same to you. If you're ever in Europe or in Denmark, you're very welcome. You know, and I'll be happy to house you and to treat you like family here. Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, I think Rocky Mountain. I think you would get a really big kick out of Rocky Mountain Audio Fest because not only will you probably see a lot of friends of yours, because a lot of, I'm sure. I mean, let's be honest, the audio industry is a small community. Everybody kind of knows everybody, and so you'll probably end up seeing a lot of buddies, and it's in a beautiful hotel. I mean, it's the hotel is incredible. The only thing I wouldn't say negative takeaway, but the only opportunity I think that it has is a lot of companies got these smaller rooms, and I don't think these small rooms give the speakers that were in there a chance to really, So because there were certain rooms that are like suites, right? And they had, these huge setups, and that was fine. It sounded great in there. But some companies had these smaller rooms, and it was unfortunate because, like I said, I don't think they had enough space in there in these hotel rooms to really show off what they can do. However, I think it went really well. I enjoyed it. There was like 7 or 8 floors of audio. So for anybody that's into audio, I think it's an awesome event. I'm upset because we were supposed to have CEDIA for our second year here this year. And luckily I was able to participate in the virtual expo for CEDIA because I was helping out with Accurus and Alcon's audio. Two very, very nice people, good brands. And, but it's not the same, it's not the same as going to the actual event and hearing the speakers. And that's just the unfortunate part of the whole COVID thing, man. It really messed things up,
Yeah, it did. It's we have to get used to new normal. It's not gonna come. It's not gonna come back to what it was. That's over, I think. But then it's a good thing that humans are good at adjusting. To make things happen. That's what we do. But I'm sure we'll be back in some way. Within a year or two. But it's going to take some time. And I would love. We've been present at Rocky Mountain, I think, 2 years with a good deal of ours from San Francisco, and that has went very well. We're playing Bel Canto, and that it sounded good. Everyone was happy. It was a small room, as you mentioned. We played the SR3 1 year and the R3, the new model, the second year, and that it went very well, and it seems like people they really like it. And that's the thing about our speakers. You can put them in a small room, you can put them in a big room, and they will perform very nicely in both.
Okay. Yeah, I need to hear these.
You will. I'll make sure that happens very soon.
Oh, I need to hear these someday because it's just I even saw a video. Someone posted a video of a flex video of one of the woofers flexing and doing its thing, and I'm like, man, like I got so excited because I knew I was doing this interview with you, and I'm like, I cannot wait to talk to him about all this stuff, because I mean, I've been into this stuff since I was a kid. My brother got me into it very early on. I was probably 5 or 6 years old when I started playing with his Techniques CD player, and he had the huge floor standing woofers and everything. And he worked hard for everything he had, but he continued on in the audio industry. Ended up doing retail and then working for Audio Quest later on. Doing that. Yeah, so he did that for a long time too. So he's been in that industry for a while, and but I owe my love for audio. I owe it to him, and I always tell people that he showed me music. I mean, you'll never catch a 6-year-old in that time frame listening to Morrissey and the Smiths and Duran Duran, Depeche Mode. These are all bands that I was like listening to, and Red Hot Chili Peppers. All these bands I was listening to because of him. Yeah. When all these other kids are listening to nonsense, just regular things that are on the radio. So I had a chance to really build an appreciation for music, and I think that we kind of see eye to eye there because I think you have that same appreciation for music, and I think you design these incredible I would call them vessels, to enjoy music the way you want them to be heard, or the way you imagine it should be heard, you know?
Exactly. Well, this is the DNA. This is the old DNA of this company. And this is, it's not allowing us to make something we don't like.
Mm-hmm.
People ask, so when is the new model going to come? I said, oh, I don't know. When it's done.
Yeah.
It's like, well, when it's done, when it sounds right.
It's not, I don't think it's that type of company though. I think, like, if you ask one of the mass producers, the people that are in Best Buy, those companies, yeah, you ask them, when's your next launch? Because it's something new comes out every year, but with something like yours, it's like, if you build this masterpiece, you're like, why do I need to build another one so soon? Enjoy this one because this one's perfect,
Exactly.
And that's what sometimes people don't understand about a luxury company is that, and I don't want to give you a stigma for being, a luxury company, but you are. I mean, it's a nice luxury company. It's a luxury speaker. Yeah. It's just, people need to understand that it's not about the next big thing. It's about enjoying what you have and what you've built and what you want people to enjoy,
Yeah. And I agree with you. And we have, of course, requests for people who want us to put different tweeters in and use something, off the shelf drivers. And why don't you use, this crossover or this, this part and it's like, because, whatever we make it to sound good. Mm-hmm. We have a rough measurement and everything else is done by ear at 5 different locations. One with a little damping, one with a little more damping, one that's completely minimalistic, one is a beach house, and I can keep going. We have a listening team, and when I announce that something is going to come, then it's 99% ready. And the last percent, we're going to use 6 months of clearing to find out how we get that last percent, how we get 100% comfortable with the new product, and then we begin to ship it.
I still think using human ears is the best measurement tool. Absolutely. Because I have an REW, I have a microphone, I have all these things that I use whenever I review, because I do a lot of reviews, and whenever I review a speaker, I almost don't want to do this because I don't like seeing the curve. Because if I like the way it sounds, if I hear it and I listen to it, I like the way it sounds, and then it just measures like complete crap, it upsets me. It's like, it breaks my heart because I'm like, I like the way that sounds, but the computer's telling me I shouldn't, and that's why I really don't like using measurement tools. They are good for certain things. I mean, to get things equalized and everything, but overall, I like using my ears. If I think something sounds good, it's because I think it sounds good, not because maybe the next guy will think it doesn't sound good. But
it's very, very different what people like. It's like, which candy do you like? Which wine do you like? Which car would you like to drive? Which girl would you like to kiss? Or boy, it doesn't matter. Everything is about taste. But of course, there are some things that, are in some kind of way regular. You can hear if it's flowing, if it sounds nice, and if you have details, and if you have punch in the bass and so on. Most people like that. And then it's the nuances that, can maybe separate people in taste. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it seems that you've, man, like I said, I can't wait. I would love to hear that someday. So once I hear it, I'll be able to, you and I will be able to have a whole nother conversation.
Sure, yeah. I will still get it out to you to try. So let's, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. So later on here in this episode, we're going to be doing, I'm going to be showing clips from your tour, the tour of your facility. Yeah. So that's something else that is exciting. You are going to be releasing that as well in its full entirety, and I'll put a link to that in the description below, so that way everybody can go see the full video on your channel. And I'll just put, I'm going to put some highlights from that tour throughout, just to make it concise, so that way people will go see the whole thing on your channel. So apart from speakers, anything else kind of wild you're kind of thinking about doing, or anything? I'm not asking if you have anything new coming out. I'm just saying, is there anything else that interests you aside from like traditional floor standing speakers and subwoofers, stuff like that?
Well, if we're talking in the audio business, we have something coming, and I'm not telling you what yet, but I will around New Year. We have something cooking, and it's not a new speaker model because we have renewed our whole program the last 3 years, and right now it needs to have time to set, and stable down, and have sales, and be at the dealers, and
it needs to breathe.
It needs to breathe, and like you said before, we're not a 1 year, one new product company,
Sure.
But yeah, we have a few things in the pipeline that are very relevant to what we do.
Good.
And I can reveal more to you around New Year. I'll be happy to do that in the podcast as well then.
We'll definitely be talking for sure.
But we in this house, in this house we have 3 floors. We are 2,000 square meters. We have two speaker productions and 1 pod production, and that's I'm going to show you some in the video, not everything, because some things are, for us to keep.
You got to keep your secrets, yeah.
Sure. We always have 2,500 cabinets in stock, and we've actually been able to deliver throughout COVID completely.
Really?
With normal lead times, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And this I'm very proud of, and this has also made us a little bit more known, because if we weren't the first choice, we were the second. And people now found out that maybe the second was maybe better than the first.
The audio industry is one of these things that bring a lot of different countries together. I think it's one thing, because I know now, just being in this industry, doing what I do now, I know people all over Europe. I know people in Australia. I know people in Asia. It's incredible how many people appreciate audio, and it just brings everybody together, because it's such a fun thing to talk about.
Audio is like therapy. Sorry about but it's therapy. It's when you're sad. It's when you're happy. It's when you want to drink. It's when you want to relax. It's when you're want to meditate. It's when you're driving your car. It's when you're at the gym, going for a walk. You can use music and maybe audio for for everything. And I don't, apart from shoes and clothes, I don't know, like the media you can bring like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, as we get older too, because I think we're close to the same age. I'm 37. So, okay. So I'm a little bit older.
Now. Yeah.
So, I mean, as we get older, if you, let's say you're on, I don't know what you use. I use Spotify, because I know I should be using Tidal or Qobuz, but I'm more comfortable with Spotify. But I know.
No, I understand. It has a nice interface. It's easy with your playlist and all that.
Yeah.
I use Tidal mostly. Playing vinyl a lot. We still play a lot of CDs, and I still at home for me. My wife uses Spotify because it's easy. Spotify goes directly into whatever streamer and amp and all that. So, but if I go for a walk and I have my earphones and so on, it's not really about the high frequencies. It's about getting that music in your ears, and getting that, getting that mood or feeling in your brain, and then, I can sit down after and listen to an Hamilton transformer on a big system, think, oh man, it's so dynamic, it's so everything. But I think music is for so many different things.
Yeah. And what I was thinking is that, have you ever had that moment where, you're listening to either Tidal or, whatever streaming service, and you come across, a certain playlist or a certain song, and you just start remembering? You start remembering things from when you were in your teenage years, your early 20s. It was just, I mean, I had a lot of fun in my 20s, but it's one of those things where certain songs kind of move you and kind of make you remember certain events and certain experiences and certain times, and that's how powerful music can be. It's a conduit into your brain that allows you to relive emotion and relive experiences, and you got to do it the right way.
I agree with you, and I actually have the same history as you. When everyone else was listening to, I don't know, techno or whatever, in their, early 20s, I was listening to Jethro Tull, Led Zeppelin, Bob Dylan, and I had only had one buddy who wanted the same as me, Grand Funk Railroad. His father brought us Grand Funk Railroad, and we was, when everyone was partying around too, we would go back to my place and listen to music, fire up that system, drink some beer or whatever, and have a good conversation and listen to music all night long. And but I remember when Red Hot Chili Pepper brought out Scar Tissue, I was like,
oh yeah,
wow, what is this? This is amazing. This is beautiful. And I have very many memories from that track, kissing girls or drinking wine or, hugging buddies or, being in a beach house looking over the water in the summer, all these things,
Yeah. Now, I started with Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic with Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was one of my favorite albums. Mm-hmm. And then, Scar Tissue was a good, that whole album was good, Oh,
I
man.
get you. It struck, it hit me, and I think the age, the uncertainty, the level of emotions in that track is just, it was a good thing. It was like I said, like therapy in a way,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm numb to the music of today, but I'm just not. Do you remember? Okay, so do you remember if you're like in your car driving on the highway, and a song comes on, you hear it for the first time ever, and you absolutely fall in love with it, and you have to listen to it again, and you find it, right? You find the CD or whatever, and you play it over and over and over and over until you finally get sick of it, right? I haven't heard a song like that in a long time as far as new music goes. I don't know, maybe I'm looking in the wrong place, but maybe you should send me a playlist or something, because
I will send you my Tidal playlist where I put in everything that I really like.
Okay.
The last time I had this experience, and that's not even a real hi-fi track, there was Imogen Heap, Hide and Seek.
Okay.
This is put together in a different way, in a wonderful way. I think I heard it 100 times. I think my neighbor came and said, "So you really like Imogen Heap?" Or how was that? Really? At the moment, yeah, of course. I will send you a link to a Tidal playlist where we put in music daily, weekly, depends on when we stumble over something which is worth listening. One, in a good hi-fi system. Two, it's a good track. We're not going to bring in trash recordings and so on, because that's not really the case in this one. But this is an Audiovector playlist entitled. I'm going to send you the link, so please feel free to share with everyone who wants to, follow a little bit of what we play on our system.
I would love to hear it, and I'll share it in the description below as well. That way people can hear what Audiovector is all about. That is a great way to get to know somebody, is to look at their playlist.
I agree.
Some people you're like, really?
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm pretty open when it comes to music. I like a little bit of everything. I can get into some rock, some classical music, hip hop. Not the new hip hop, the older hip hop.
Old hip hop, mostly. I think maybe autotune took over a little bit. So it's kind of. But with taste. I agree with you. Old school,
I'll tell you what.
Wu-Tang Clan, Method Man, Redman, all that stuff is good. I listen to that still. I can still put on Method Man, Redman, the Rock Wilder, and think this is. Oh man, I now remember my
that's good stuff, right?
20s and teen years. Yeah, it's good.
You'll never believe this, but before I was into audio and stuff, I've always been a photographer by trade, and I had the chance to actually go on tour for a couple years with Bone Thugs and Harmony, and the coolest experience I had with them was I was taking pictures behind the scenes at a recording studio that they were rehearsing at, a rehearsal studio, and I saw them perform Crossroads right in front of me, and I was one of the only people in the room. And these guys, just from memory, just knew all these songs, and they were just incredible how they harmonize together and how they sing, and they're all, I think, late 40s, probably in their late 40s now. But they were an incredible group of guys, and I had a great experience with that, and took a lot of pictures, of course, and met a lot of. I actually met Method Man, which is cool. Yeah, he's a big guy. He's a big guy. I'm 6 foot tall, 230 pounds, and this guy is like, way above me. So, Yeah,
The rough voice, you know, he has everything.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and he's a character in a way.
Oh, they are. Yeah, he stuck around for a while and talked to everybody and kind of, you know, at the end of the day, these guys are just normal guys, you know?
Yeah,
They just like to have a good time.
Man. They're just very good at something and people recognize it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, my friend, I think we're almost at an hour, which is awesome.
That's good. It went fast. This was a very fast hour.
I had a good time with you. I think this is cool. You're a great guy. I think, you know, I wish you all the best with Audiovector. Please say hi to your dad from my part, and tell him he's got to be on the next one. You know, I gotta meet this guy.
He's very willing to do one of these things. You know, he's you gotta set some more time off because he has a lot of stories he wants to tell you.
Oh, I would love to hear it. Yeah, I'll definitely set a lot of time for him, and let's keep in touch. And after this, we'll roll with the factory tour, and yeah, we'll go from there. So thank you so much, Mads, for joining me.
Thank you, Mike. It was a pleasure. Audio Architects, thank you so much for spending time on us. It was just wonderful, and welcome to the family. I look forward to do much more work with you in the future. Take care.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you so much.
We have here a small administration. This is late in the afternoon, so we're a little bit limited in people, but the key persons you will see here is Birte and Jeanette, and they're doing an awesome job here. A few offices. Everything is designed by us to our standards, to our wishes, to our norms. And as you can see, Danish design classic furniture is something that we cherish a lot. This office is my father's. My father's name is Oli Clifford, and he is the founder of the company, which he founded in 1979. We have a few listening rooms, and let's start with the smaller one. Right now playing a pair of QR5 speakers in black piano. The QR5 is a very popular product as it is reasonably priced and very, very well and high-end performing. This is the small room where we play a little bit of Danish electronics, but we play something that we like the sound of. We have made the room as a more or less a normal living room. So if you look at the damping in the ceiling and the carpets on the floor, this is more or less something that you would choose for your own living room. We do this because we manufacture speakers for private homes. Let's have a look in the lounge. This is a nice place to have a cup of coffee, to have a look at some of our amazing products. The new R6 series, Signature, Avantgarde and Arete. And Italian walnut finish is extremely popular these days, and thank you for cherishing our choices in color. Few electronics we switch a lot, so that we know how the sound is performing in different brands. As you can see, we have a lot of light. We are only 10 kilometers from the absolute center of the city, so we have great opportunities to pick you guys up in the airport and to have guests from all over the world. This demonstration room is a little bit bigger, right now we are playing records. We can also stream. We have a CD player as well. So we kind of go through every media we can to make sure that the speakers are performing well. Also here we are playing Danish electronics from Griffon Audio. And the amazing Audiovector R8 Arete in Italian walnut burl, which is an Italian veneer that we source And after the cabinet is veneered, we give the cabinet 11 times piano lacquer. Plinths and baffles are made from one solid piece of aluminum, and then it is brushed, someplace sanded or glass blasted, and then anodized afterwards. You see the plinth is made from 3 pieces of aluminum, and we're very, very, very satisfied with this speaker and the finish we can offer for this one. Let's go. I want to show you our smallest production space. This is where we built our more high-end speakers. Hi, Stefan.
Hello.
Do you mind turning down the music a little bit, please? So, as you can see, Stefan Seidenfaden, who is our production manager, he's right now building a pair of R6 Avantgardes. This is for a Danish dealer. This color is called the Nardo Gray Piano, and it comes from a very known German car brand. So R6s are being built right now. We are shipping the first batches of our new speaker these months, and thank you very much for being so positive towards us. This one is called a District Green. It comes from another German car manufacturer, and here we have the Italian Matte Walnut, which is a standard color. This one is not. So everything you see here, all the products that we make here are handmade in Denmark. Cabinets start, when we get the cabinets, they are completely empty, completely naked. Then we can add a special color, we can add a special lacquer. We can offer, for example, rosewood, like I said, Italian walnut, black ash, a few others. And a few moments later, if you will, maybe a little bit longer, we have, for example, a pair of R3. This must be an avant-garde or a signature. Now mounted with baffles, plinths, not yet dampening. This is to be done later. So all assembly is by hand by our craftsmen, and all craftsmen, Danish craftsmen, are educated within some kind of handcraft. This could be an automotive lacquer or a mechanic or iron worker or tool maker, anything that has something to do with working precise with your hands. Tweeters, crossovers are also made in Denmark, and these are built by hand as well. One tweeter contains of 89 pieces, so that's quite a lot. Crossovers a little bit simpler, but all made in Denmark since 1979. Terminals is an audio. This is an Audiovector terminal, not something off the shelf. I'm gonna put this on the table. Drivers, if I can find one over here. Drivers come from Scanspeak. Scanspeak hand assembles these by hand, about 300 kilometers away from us in Denmark. But the driver is a Scanspeak driver owned by Audiovector, made by Scanspeak. And this is an Audiovector design. We own the driver, we own the parts, we own the membrane, and then we have Scanspeak build them for us at their great expertise, as they have done for so many years. This is a full carbon driver with a titanium voice coil system in a magnesium basket, and this driver is featured in little bit different specs, but in R1, R3, R6, R8 so far. Welcome downstairs. Here you can see this is, for example, QR, which is ready to go, stock. We have a few, not a lot here, but we have a few special colors. This is the Lamborghini orange, or Italian orange. This is an Italian gray. We have this one we called Kreide or crayon, depending if you're speaking German or English. All special colors are made by hand in Denmark by a painter that specializes in painting sports cars. Vintage sports cars, newer sports cars, can be Porsches, Ferraris, Maseratis, BMWs, and so on. He's very, very talented, and we've been using him for almost 15 years now. This is just a small part of our stock, as there is a level below this as well, and an external stock as well, but we always carry 2,500 cabinets minimum in stock, so we can ensure we can deliver to you. During the COVID-19 crisis, we have been so fortunate to have enough stock to deliver throughout this whole period. Come on, this what you see here is what's going out today, and here as well. Something for Korea, something for Canada, something for UK, something for Denmark as well. And now we're very happy to be busy. Guys are building QR5s, I can see. Matthias and Jonas are working on a bigger order at the moment. This is the QR5 in Dark Walnut. This is, by the way, a real wood veneer. We only use real wood veneers for our speakers. No plastic, no artificial. So everything from the QR1 up till the R11 is built in-house, tested in-house, packed in-house. And as you can see on the rear terminal plate of this speaker, when a technician like Jonas have completed the speaker, he signs the terminal plate on the actual speaker. Then he signs the cardboard box after it's packed as well. So this is the way we can ensure always to give you guys the best quality possible. Welcome back. This was a short tour of our factory, assembly space, administration, lounge, and overall workplace in Copenhagen. Thank you for listening to me today, and thank you for helping us spread the message of Audiovector. I wish you all a wonderful evening, and I hope to see you all someday, maybe in your country, maybe at our facility in Copenhagen. Take care, stay safe, be well, and listen to music.